Hello and welcome and welcome and hello and hello and welcome. I am not late, Danny Dimes. I did not have this live broadcast scheduled at all. There was no schedule, so I'm not late. Guys, welcome and hello and welcome. Of course, it's Un Poco Mas. What else am I going to do on a Monday? Give you guys a little bit less? No, I'm going to give you a little bit more. Guys, Anthony Noto killed ManBearPig, but no one takes him serial. ManBearPig is going to be small business banking. I think there's sort of three Zelda keys that kind of unlock the door to ManBearPig, if you will, to sort of mix my video games and cartoon metaphors, etc. Okay, number one, of course, everybody talks about beaten to death is technology. People are kind of two minds. SoFi's just a bank, or SoFi is a cutting edge bank that is sort of wrapped in a technology company and could be considered a half a technology company, or, even more so, really given that tech multiple that we all crave. So, the truth is probably somewhere in between. Of course, SoFi is a bank. It is a traditional lender. Those activities are almost inherently profitable, particularly if you have really sound conservative management. That's good at hedging risk. But I think the not intangibles, the sort of two that are overlooked. Number one is student loans. Everybody's kind of written off student loans and forgot about student loans. Look at those borrowers that are SoFi student loan borrowers. They're like 780, 790 FICO scores, much higher income than their personal. These are people with advanced degrees. These are the, PhDs. These are the MDs. These are the engineers. These are the architects. These are the people who went to school, invested in themselves, and are succeeding. These aren't the turds that went to like ITT Tech or some ridiculous program and got themselves in a ton of debt and got in trouble. These are people with high incomes, high credit scores, successful people. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. SoFi, of course, max pain is 650. It's down on the day, moderate volume, 16 million shares traded. It's down 9 cents to $6.38. And yeah, just on the day, I don't know what it popped up to here. I guess 653, and probably for the first 2 hours, it was trending up around the 650 area. Then it just fell off a cliff to 640. So the algo is kind of stepping it down as it's wont to do. In terms of the chart, still in this little wedge, kind of basically moved sideways for the last since June 14th here at the 640 mark, fell down to just basically moved sideways from, I don't know what this is, early March, all the way till for 3 months, basically moved sideways around that $7 area, kind of as a floor, sort of as a, average there, and then just fell off a cliff. So the algo's working the stock. It's so strange. Yesterday, they borrowed 29 million shares. I guess this would have been Friday, excuse me. Since it is Monday, what is it? July 8th, I guess. Anyway, so let's see. Welcome and hello and welcome. This is SoFi Technologies Incorporated, ticker symbol SOFI. Guys, forgive me. I'm going a bunch of different directions. Have a lot of issues going on today, but it's Un Poco Mas. I just want to go over why I think people are misunderstanding the company. I saw like an hour and a half interview with the bologna sandwich, the five-head Giuliano Bologna from Compass Point. He was making his argument, of why, basically supporting his $4 price target, why he's bearish the stock. The argument just kept going around and around, like book value, how he couldn't really place a value on technology, but he knew it was far less than it would need to be to get up to the current valuation. But yeah, so very strange. So they're saying 10 million shares returned today, cost to borrow trending up a little bit. Just they didn't obviously short 30 million shares on Friday. There was only like 15 million shares traded, but behind the scenes, market makers are just playing massive games, positioning for huge moves, huge shenanigans. Why do I think it's not going to work over the long term? Like, SoFi to me is a buy at these levels and is a long-term hold. The bank's making money, lending makes money. Um, why do I think they're going to move into small business banking, and why do I think that's quite compelling? If you look at what SoFi is in terms of technology, they do payment processing. As a bank, they can issue credit cards. Why can't they take that payment processing once they are approved for business checking, business banking, focus on those small businesses, those affluent professionals, those, people that are bringing in a lot of money in terms of their credit card readers, whether it be dental office, chiropractor, doesn't matter. Focus on those young, affluent customers running profitable businesses. You think, why are they going to get approved for small business banking? It just follows. They hired the employee, the person who's been with the New York Fed for 30 years. They hired the general counsel that just came from Chase. It really just follows that they have this bank charter that they're going to move into that small business arena. Yes, they're probably not going to be able to compete for the huge players with some of these mega banks and some of the companies that specialize in, business banking. But if you look at a small business banking product, it's pretty much identical to a personal checking product. There's really no difference. It's just a bank account. So if you're doing payment processing, accepting a ton of credit card payments, and you can drop that into a funnel gunnel into a business checking account, that's going to feed into their personal checking account. And then you add in business credit cards. SoFi's already doing things with MasterCard in terms of budgeting, in terms of very sophisticated, expense account analysis, payment cards, all of these things. SoFi has these capabilities. Galileo has these capabilities. It's just extremely logical that they're going to add on small business banking, small business credit cards, small business lending. And none of that is in the numbers. None of that is in the guidance. Everybody's kind of freaking out about how do they get to these 2026 numbers? Does it have to be just massive tech growth? Oh, I'm exhausted trying to, the stock just trends sideways because that's what market makers want to do. What happened to all the volume? I mean, I often wonder, SoFi, is the turd army just full of shit? Are SoFi, bulls, retail bulls just full of shit? Because nobody's buying the stock. Like, guys, I'm buying these dips, but I can only buy so many thousands of shares. I mean, when I see the volume, it's just anemic volume at 16 million shares. The algo, yeah, there's a few big orders in there. But let's be honest, retail is dumping. Retail's capitulating. Retail's not accumulating. Smart money's accumulating because it's low, because retail's stupid and weak, like Fredo. You guys are Fredo. Like, what are you afraid of, Fredo? Like, why are you dumping down here at 640? Because you're impatient? Because you want to go buy NVIDIA? I mean, okay, if that's what you want to do, they salute health and happiness, Don Corleone. Sorry, too many Godfather references. A Monday, I'm very tired, of course. Never enough rest for the weary. But 16 million shares traded, down 8 cents. Algo in control. Some big orders coming across. Stock right in the wedge. Tons and tons of shares net borrowed on Friday. Kind of. What are they setting up for? We don't really know. But sorry about my weird schizophrenic whiteboard here, but this is just what I see. Student loans, SoFi owns this market. It's vastly underestimated. Once you get these rate cuts, it's not just the student loans. I know that's not a hugely profitable business. It's getting those extremely, extremely good, high quality customers onto the wheel. That's not only going to bring them onto the personal banking wheel, it's going to bring them onto the business banking wheel once they get approved for that. So I'm talking about student loans. They own this market, get them on the wheel, business checking coming soon. That's going to kind of leverage all the technology, all the things SoFi does. It's going to bring it together. It's going to bring a compelling source of revenue and profit. I mean, I know that's not in the guidance, and I know it's speculative that that's what they're working on. But when I think about why don't they have options out? Why aren't they innovating more? Maybe they're building a business banking suite for SoFi. Stranger things have happened. Oh, what's going on, Tom Ludlow? What's going on, guys? How's it going? Danny Dimes, of course, was first. Chad's here. M. Russo, good to see you. It was scheduled. I didn't schedule it, Danny Dimes. It's just once you click on create live stream, it takes a minute to like turn on the microphone, get all the pages set up. But I didn't schedule this one, buddy. But I can't control what the software tells you, turds. What's going on, Air Force? Good to see you. Lee Armstrong, I am here, ready to begin. Matt Flo, what's going on, Matt Flo? Charles Stewart, keep it beaten down. I'm not done filling my position. A lot of people feel that way, Charles. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Sell cover calls, accumulate if you must. But yeah, that's why I'm saying, I know the Bears are full of shit. I watched the bologna sandwich. He's a very smart guy, but the arguments surrounding book value, fair value accounting, the analysts that have gone and met with SoFi management, Touchdown, Danny Dolev from Mizuho, that guy Mark DeVries and from Deutsche Bank, they've come out of full day meetings with management and says this stuff is bunk because yes, they're recognizing, they're writing up the loans on day zero, but the point is they're hedging against those risks. Noto knows that these loans are going to be written down. They're selling off more loans. They're getting rid of problematic loans. So it's not like they're just unaware that their accounting system creates certain risks on the back end with these loans, and they're not doing anything about it to hedge the risk. I mean, they know this stuff. Noto is so far ahead of the bologna sandwich. Noto's like a fully dressed hoagie versus a 5-headed bologna sandwich. Oh, God, it's so boring. I mean, I'd never seen a couple of hairlines going at it. I couldn't stop watching because I was like, when is this guy going to make the point that gets him to 4? He never got there. He never got to the growth. He never got to the opportunity that Galileo's unlocking. He didn't address the actual company, the business model, what they're going to do. This company has not had an opportunity to show what their business model can do with student loans there, with rate cuts there, with tech prepared after the pivot to take on these larger clients. The assumption, the popular wisdom, that the narrative that, Wall Street, the media is creating is just dead stock. They're not going to be able to get anywhere with the tech side. It was bad. It was a waste of money. It's not going to be a big, compelling part of the business. I just don't see why people are so sure of that. I don't see why people think Derek White is some kind of schlub who can't get anything done. If you saw his interview for like 50 minutes, it's I forget the gentleman it was with, but very good interview. You can easily find it on YouTube. And then Tevis did kind of a synopsis of it. I mean, Derek White's a fucking all-star. This guy is going to do big, big things with Galileo. I mean, yeah, you can doubt him. You could say it's unproven, but the Just a Bank folks are disingenuous. It's Just a Bank with a compelling tech opportunity. Now, it's an unproven tech company. Galileo is not proven they're going to be the AWS of fintech. It is very speculative, and I can see why people are just not willing to give it that valuation as of now. But as you see Galileo ramp members, ramp profits, bring on some of these bigger customers with big existing memberships, I think it's going to lead to revenues a lot faster than people think. And I think this 20% is very, very conservative. Why do people think management is overestimating 2026 when they underestimate everything else? They sandbag everything else. I saw this guy from Seaport, it was Bill something. He downgraded Q2 estimates from 2 cents to 0 cents to a break even. And his rationale behind that was a couple of, mechanical things with the accounting, which made a certain amount of sense, but I think it just discounted the growth. It discounted what I think we're going to see in student loans, home loans. I think it discounted the fact that we're going to see revenues grow in tech faster than people think. Why couldn't there be some surprises in Q2 with tech? Why couldn't we see a big client added? It doesn't necessarily have to be a top 5 bank. It could be some other kind of company. I mean, LaPointe is telling you this stuff's coming. Is he just lying? Is he making it up? Does he want to crash the stock by not delivering on what he's promising? I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see the FUD. I don't see the fear. Another thing just to point out, was that the institutional ownership of SoFi, I believe, reached an all-time record. Yeah, it's higher than it was back here in 2022, at least in nominal shares. As a ratio, I'm not sure, but it was, up to, I think, 404.45 or whatever it was, 445 million shares they own, and now it's like 460 million shares. Because of dilution, they probably, it's still only like 44%, but this is where we need to be going. We need to be driving toward that 50%. And the fact that, you saw that huge institutional sell-off, and then institutions bought up all those shares and have continued to increase institutional ownership. You see the fund sentiment score still pretty low. Put call ratio, institutional put call ratio, still a lot of still a lot of puts on the stock. A lot more calls too, so it's kind of balanced out. But the bottom line, these numbers are showing that smart money is buying the stock, accumulating the stock, but doing so carefully in a controlled manner, not to drive it up. They can still make a lot of money on options. They can still make a lot of money on shorting. They're just not seeing, lightning in a bottle that's pushing the stock, much, much higher. You need a big surprise. And that's what I've been saying for a long, long time. Sorry about that. I know the guy who calls me Alf. He's like, hey, buddy. Like, because his stupid hair. It's like when I wear my hat, it gets really tall. So I do kind of look like Alf. That's pretty funny, actually. But anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, so when they're talking about institutions coming into the stock, it's not a Robin Hood where they own 85% of the, or in a firm. I think both. They own huge institutional ownership of these stocks. Doesn't matter that, a firm is losing money and is going to continue to lose money, and their business model is not at all compelling, and, the future of credit. It's like, give me a break. Laying off installment loans. Some secondary, tertiary bullshit market, bullshit people, bullshit little loans. It's a way worse business than credit cards. Gotta hate a firm. Anyway, yeah, and Bologna was talking a lot about Lending Club, and it's getting a multiple of 0.8 to tangible book value. It's just, what is the value of SoFi's growth? And can you really assign 15%? I mean, rates have been high. This is putting pressure downward on everything SoFi does besides bringing in deposits. And they had to cut back on personal loans to de-risk, trying to make Mr. Market happy. But Mr. Market's never happy with SoFi. Like, hey, Dad, can I have a little bit higher valuation? It's like, oh, I don't think so. Why don't you ask your mother? It's like, Mom, Dad said to ask you. Go fuck yourself, Billy. I don't know. His voices are getting out of control. But yeah, that's really all I had. Do you guys think business banking is going to be approved by the federal regulators? And do you think that's going to be a compelling source of revenues and profits for SoFi that is not in any guidance and is going to basically shock the world to the upside? That's my theory, guys. I don't know. I just see everything set up in that direction. They're doing credit. They're issuing credit cards. They can issue business credit cards. They're doing expenses. They're doing benefits. They're doing SoFi at work. They have so many pieces around business banking to get approved for that central piece. It's going to add a huge component to their business almost overnight, because so many existing SoFi members are going to be small business owners, small business partners, interested in starting small business. It could even be turds. It could even be YouTubers, influencers, yoga teachers, personal trainers, anybody collecting money over credit cards. Why can't SoFi? I realize they're not going to be Square. I realize they're not going to be the next Shopify, but there's absolutely no reason SoFi can't do payments and funnel that into a freaking business checking account. It's not rocket science, guys. I'm not asking anybody to reinvent the wheel or split the atom. I'm just saying, add 2 and 2, put it right in front of you. What SoFi does makes money. The unproven tech company, I think, is going to make a ton of money and prove everybody wrong. But anyway, the stock has been trending down. There's just no doubt about it. It was, like I said, hanging around for 3 months, kind of that floor of $7. That broke down, kind of been hanging around this 640 area for, I guess the last 3 weeks. I'm trying to figure out again how this Seaport guy, and I know you can read his explanation, his technical explanation of why he went from 2 cents to 0. I feel like it's a FUD note. There has been significant FUD on the stock in terms of bears sort of making, again, just rehashing these same disingenuous arguments about accounting structure, balance sheet, all these things. SoFi's in trouble. It just doesn't comport with reality. I mean, the reality is Anthony Noto killed ManBearPig and nobody takes him serial. That's all I got for you guys. It's Un Poco Moss. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Danny Deals. I don't know if I think Nautilurker might be absent today. Might be playing hooky. If Alberto Bertie Avilés is here, would like to thank him. SJ Tavares, thanks for watching. Ross, Lee, Prismo, Klaus, Steven Zunker, Chad, Tom, whoever the hell else is here, guys. Really appreciate you. I got work to do. Peace.